What's up, Pirate Nation? Welcome back to episode 8 of the Ship's Log. Today, I'm welcomed by transfer receiver Winston Wright Jr. and returning wide receiver coach Dyrell Roberts. Guys, welcome to the show. Happy to have you on, Coach. Legendary. It's my pleasure to have you on.
Appreciate you having me.
So usually with this show, we start it off, same thing every time. We go into a pirate scenario, gives kind of the listeners, the fans, kind of idea of who you are and how you think in terms of getting creative with it. So this scenario is you've been captured by hostile natives on an island. You need someone from your team to provide a distraction while you free the rest of your crew. Who from the team/staff would you want to provide that distraction? They'll also need to be able to get away on their own. Can't go with the big boy. Got to be able to get away on their own. You're not trusting that.
So how concrete is it? Could I be the distraction? Because I trust myself to get away and let somebody else kind of be able to help get the guys out of the
Coach,
capture.
Before this show, we were kind of talking about a kick return you had at Virginia Tech when you were playing Bama, and you just said you couldn't do it now. You pull both hammies out. So if you're running away, Coach, I'm not gonna lie, you might be beat.
No, if it's something dealing with
life or death, you got it.
Life or death, yeah, I'm ready for action.
So you're back there, vision.
I'm ready for. I promise you, I'm ready for action. If it's my life,
all right,
I'm ready for action.
Coach Roberts got himself. What about you? What you got, Winston?
I would say if I'm with a group, I'm with my receiver group, or I'm with the whole team. I'm with the whole team. I would say I'm gonna have him distract because he good with that. And yeah.
My dog.
Yeah. Right off the top of my head, if I was what is the distraction? What are you guys going with? I feel like one guy's got to kind of break away, get their attention.
Yeah.
Kind of distract the guards. Everyone else books it out of there.
Yeah, you have to. I'm pretty good. I can talk to a tree. You know what I mean? So I'm pretty good at distraction people. I could just start a conversation, just get to talking, get the attention on me. Make sure my guys get away, and then from there it's like, all right, turn into a foot race.
If I would have gone with last year's team, I would have gone with Josiah Hatfield.
Okay,
it would have been my guy. Cause I feel like similar. He could kind of just talk, chill out with everyone. He could make the guards like kind of lax, and then take off.
No doubt.
They call him takeoff. He's gone.
Yeah, for sure.
So you guys are going Coach Roberts.
Yeah, I'm going Coach Roberts for sure.
There it is. Coach Roberts, last season was your first year here at East Carolina. In the past, you played wide receiver at Virginia Tech for 5 years. You're pretty successful there. You're part of 3 ACC championship teams, went to bowl games in all 5 years. Just kind of tell us about your football journey and what led you back to being a coach, because you took a little time off there with another occupation, but ultimately you came back to the game you love. So how'd that unfold?
For me, like you said, I had a pretty successful, playing career. Had some injuries in my career though that kind of played a part in taking away not really getting the opportunity to really go to that next level to continue my career. So once I wrapped up kind of playing, like you said, I did have another career field. I actually was a deputy sheriff, back in Alawite County in Virginia, where I'm from, and I did that for 2.5 years. But I also was coaching, football during that time too. I was just coaching back at my high school, Smithfield High School, and I did that for 2 seasons. Once I really got those 2 seasons under my belt, I absolutely loved it. I always loved the game of football. Right. I knew coaching was something that I wanted to do. I just didn't know if it was just going to be strictly high school level, or if I wanted to go college, if I wanted to try to go professional, whatever the case may be, on that. But I fell in love. I fell in love with the coaching the 2 seasons that I got a chance, to make a difference in those kids' lives. And from there, God bless me, and it's been history ever since.
Is it a different kind of love being a coach? Because obviously as a player, it's something you dream about as a kid and something you kind of are around from a young age. And when you're playing, obviously you're with the boys, you're having all the team bonding and you're really a part of it. As a coach, you kind of have a different perspective. You just mentioned changing kids' lives is definitely a part of it. So how has that changed and is it different as a coach?
For me, it feels different just because I'm older and I get to coach young men that's doing everything that I did in in my time when I was a player. So far as the love goes, I think it's the same, but just how, who I am as a person today, I'm a heck of a lot different than what I was when, I was 18, 19, 20 years old. So I think certain parts is different, but I think a lot of it is the same because it's still the love for the game. It's still trying to be a difference. It's always bigger than me. You know what I mean? I'm just a vessel for these young men to, continue their careers and do what it is and accomplish all of their goals and things like that. So for me, I think you can look at it twofold.
Yeah, absolutely. That's amazing. Winston, heading on to you, grad transfer. What attracted you to East Carolina as a wide receiver?
I would say, so when I entered the portal or whatnot, I had my journey was like this because I entered the portal before. So like when I got in the portal this time, like it was different. Like I wanted, I seen myself like going somewhere where I can be used all over, and just really just make plays and just go to a school where like the coaches like they believe in me. So when I entered the portal this past season, the crazy thing is so Scott Jasper, that's here. He was with me at West Virginia. Me and him had a great relationship there. So he knew me. So I remember he texted me like when I hit the portal, and I texted him back and was like, I'm interested. Like, I'm open to all schools.
Right.
So when it really came down, like I had a couple SEC schools I was looking forward to, and then just getting on the phone with Coach Roberts and like his vision, the whole staff. I'm like, I told my dad, like I texted my dad right away, like I gotta come see this. Like,
definitely.
I feel like when I was talking to him on the phone, like, see, I'm an energy person, so like I could just feel the energy. So I'm like I need to. God was telling me like I need to come see it for myself.
Yeah, and being an older guy, and you've already been in the portal once, at this point, like you want to go somewhere not only where you're wanted, but somewhere where you're needed.
Yeah.
And then you get on the phone and you chop it up with a coach like this, and you kind of, like you just said, you feel that connection. Right. And I think the whole kind of hidden part and gem of recruiting people to East Carolina is bringing them out here. Because, it might be hard, and at first you ain't going to always understand or know what East Carolina is and what they're really about, what the Pirates are about. But when you bring them out here and you see the community, you see the stadium, you see the field, you get to meet the fans, it's definitely a special place. So now that you've been here for a while, wrapping up workouts, heading into spring ball, what's your experience been with the team so far? With the guys, your wide receiver room, the team, being out there with mat drills and all that. Just how's it been?
Yeah, so my experience so far has been, I feel like it's been amazing, but me just coming in, like, I'm a type person, like, I'm not going to say too much. I'm going to, let my work show and earn my teammates respect. Me being new, like, I got to earn everybody respect and, build relationships. So, like, me just coming here from the scrim staff to the football staff to everybody I've encountered with, like, it's been good so far. Like, it feels like a family atmosphere. The receivers, just me being an older guy, like, I know, like, what needs to be done. Like, I know what work is, and, like, right now we in there working, like, we in there grinding. Like, I know everybody got, goals this season, like, and my goal is, just to, it's really, my goal is, like, this season, like, we're going to show everybody, like, I know, they had the season that they had last year, but it's going to be a complete turnaround.
Take it to new levels.
Yeah.
So you've been on two different teams now. You've learned a new offensive playbook. Yeah. The whole offense is learning a new playbook now. Yeah. So what's kind of, both of you guys, your expectations going into this spring practice next week, and ultimately just building kind of that chemistry with the offense leading into summer and fall?
All right. So me coming from, two offenses, if you want to play in the league, you never know. You might get traded. You're going to have to learn
playbook in a week.
Playbook in no time. So,
right.
Our expectations, like, I just say, like, see, I've been playing football since I was 5. Like, just have fun. Like, like, that's all you got to do. You're going to have mistakes, but we're going to make them together and correct them. And I feel like, like, Coach Roberts is, like, the perfect coach because he's the type of coach, like, you can come to, like, with anything, like, and just chop it up. Like,
yeah, he's like a big brother and a coach all in one.
Yeah, so, like, I feel like we have the perfect coach. Like, we learning a new offense. So, like, he's a coach like you're not afraid to mess up on.
Right.
You're not afraid to mess up with because we're gonna learn from those mistakes. But just the new scheme that we got, like I think it's gonna be fun for everybody.
Coach, moving to you, he kind of just hit on it right there. But you're definitely a player's coach. You said earlier in the pod that you're a different person than you were back when you were playing. So obviously you have a great idea of what it's like to be on both sides of this. Is there a certain kind of inspiration you have in the coaching world that's led you to be the coach that you are today, or are you just going off of how you would want to be coached back in the day, kind of?
To be honest with you, I think I kind of steal ideas from a lot of coaches that I done had along my journey thus far. I mean, my receiver coach that I played for, Kevin Sherman, that's like another father figure for me. Like, right. I appreciate everything that he done, for me and everything like that. But again, like I talked about earlier, everybody is their own individual and their own individual person. So for me, all the coaches that I've had along the way, I just kind of steal and take a little bit, here and there, and kind of put it into my tool belt. So that way it's like, okay, this is who I am. So I can only be me. That's all I know how to do. But at the same time, good qualities that I've able to be picked up from other good coaches, I mean, it's kind of the name of the game, you know what I mean? Like I'm going to make sure that I'm giving my all, but I have the information that I need to give to my guys to make sure that I'm helping them be able to become the best football player, the best men, the best sons, the best husbands, everything, as they continue to go through their journey.
Put the different tools in the toolbox. Obviously, a big offseason in recruiting for the Pirates, but especially on the offensive side of the ball and in your room. What's the most important part in the recruiting process? And obviously it's changed a lot with the portal and just kind of this different world we're living in now, NCAA speaking. But what is the most important part of the recruiting process?
For me, you have to find the right fit. That's just kind of how it all goes when it's all said and done. Because like you said, this football is the ultimate team game. But at the same time, if you don't have the right pieces in place, you're really not going to be able to achieve the goals and stuff that you have set as a team. So for me, going off, like having the ability to be able to recruit quality young men, like you see Winston sitting right here, I'm more so focused on, okay, how will he fit into the room? How will he fit to the team? Like, is it going to be a smooth transition per se? Because you don't want to have a whole bunch of tension, a whole bunch of, confusion and things like that. You want everybody to be able to play loose, free, relax, and know that they're actually enjoying themselves. They're having a good time being around me, being around their brothers that's in the room, being a part of Pirate Nation and everything like that. So that's kind of what I like to focus on at the first beginning part anyway. I mean, of course, you have to be a good player. If you're not a good player, I'm not going to reach out to you. That's just how the game goes, of course. But it's all about fit, like who you are as a person, how would you fit in the program, in the organization, and things like that. I don't like confusion. Confusion is not a good word when it comes to the game of football anyway. You know what I mean?
Most definitely. Winston, jumping back to you, kind of a question that we ask every once in a while on the pod right here. Usually we leave it up to two different kind of NFL receivers, but if you were to model your game after or take stuff from certain NFL guys when you're watching tape and stuff like that from a receiver perspective, who are you looking to in the NFL to kind of model your game after?
You want me to name two or one?
You could go with one. I was going to give you the option between Jay Jettas or Jamar Chase, but
so like you see, like I'm probably like a 5'10" receiver, fast. So like I kind of look at players like Jalen Waddle, like that can play outside, line up inside, play special teams, like just bring a different feel to the game, like versatile. So like I kind of model my game as him and try to take things like how he's coming off the ball and how he's making everything look like he's going vertical to create mismatch and all that.
Yeah,
so that's probably.
Are you a weapon on special teams?
Yeah, most definitely.
Have you had a special teams meeting with Coach Roberts yet?
Not yet.
Not yet.
You don't bring that kind of energy in the everyday meetings, right?
Yeah. Hey, but it's coming.
You want to give him a preview yet? Or
Not yet. I mean, we can. It's up to you. You know how I get that. So I'm trying to keep the energy bottled up.
All I'll say, I've said it on the pod a couple times before when we bring you up. All I'll say though is when you have kick return meeting, be on the edge of your seat. be ready to bring that energy
yeah,
back. Because if you don't bring it back, it's
guaranteed.
I actually scored my first college touchdown on kick return.
That's how everyone starts.
Yeah, man.
Special teams, find your role.
Yeah.
Coach, we had Chase Soel on here the other episode, and we talked about that game at Rice. And I've always just kind of been curious from a player's perspective, with kind of the backstory and just kind of how hectic that was for you. We've talked about family. We've talked about being a port fit. We talked about just being like that person. And you and your wife had a baby due the day before we were supposed to leave for Rice, right? Go to Houston.
Mm-hmm.
And you did have your wife did give birth to the baby that night.
Mm-hmm.
And then you took a jet
right after.
Yep. So talk about that, because for people that don't know, Fridays before the game, especially an away game, we come in, you have the hydration test, you get a little meal, you go do a walkthrough, you shower up, you bus, hotel, maybe nap for a little bit, then you got dinner, and then meetings. And then you go to bed, you wake up, and it's game day.
Yep.
And obviously when your wife goes into labor, you don't know how long it's going to take. But what kind of was your timing and kind of mentality and all that like during that time? Because I think obviously your room knew, but from a team perspective, kind of like, where's Coach Roberts at? Like Coach Dallas went up, did the kick return meeting, and like, where's he at? And then kind of your position group kind of broke the news. And obviously we're excited, and definitely in this program, it's a family first program, and you being the man you are, you weren't going to miss that obviously. But what was it like getting to the game right after, and just like, how were you feeling during that weekend?
Oh man, it was a crazy weekend. I promise you that, because my youngest son, Chief, which is the one that we're talking about, he wasn't supposed to be born until that following week, which was our bye week.
Okay.
So we kind of set it up, because my wife not new to this. She been around, like we done been to some places with the game of football. So we set it up where we could, have him that very next week. But she did her last follow-up appointment that Friday morning while we was doing walkthrough, and she ended up, calling me and telling me, hey,
game time.
They said they keeping me in, like my vital numbers and everything are kind of like fluctuating and everything, so they wanted to keep her in to be able to monitor and all of that good stuff. And I let a little bit more time pass, because I was able to call my mom, I was able to call my dad, like everything like that, to kind of get our support system kind of going, because I didn't know if it was gonna just bleed through the weekend, but I didn't want her to be here by herself.
Right. So
we had plans in place already, but once the doctor was like, oh, we're gonna have a baby today, like it's gonna be today, tonight, of some time. At that moment, I'm like, oh, okay, here we go. So I talked to Coach. Coach couldn't have been any better. Like,
so you're just like, Coach, like wife's going into labor.
She's going into labor, and Coach easily said very quickly, you need to be there. Like, you need to be there. You have to do what you have to do. We'll get everything situated. We'll figure it all out, because I wasn't going to talk to Coach until I had that information where I knew he was coming that Friday night. Like, so once I knew that, it was like, yeah, okay, Coach, I want to be here if you allow me to do it. And he didn't even bat an eye. I can't believe you talking to me right now about this. Like, you're going to see the birth of your child, and we'll get you on the next thing. So we ended up having them that night, and I was on the jet the next morning. I think it was like 4 o'clock in the morning, something like that. And I ended up getting there, and
because when we woke up and had breakfast, you were there.
I was there. Yeah, I was there.
I was like, hold on.
No doubt. It worked out perfect, man. God don't make no mistakes, man. Yeah. Like it all worked out perfect. Like I said, it's a birth. It was my youngest child. And if I got anything to do with it, it'd be my last child.
Right.
So I'll never forget it. I'll never forget it, man. Just how everything unfolded. It was just, man, it was a blessing, man. It was definitely a gift from God for sure.
Yeah, it speaks volumes to not only the kind of coach you are, but obviously the kind of family man you are too. And you go from one family to another. And so that was definitely something cool to see from a player perspective too. Moving into the next segment, I don't know what you know about Dowdy-Ficklin Stadium and how it gets jumping. It was inspirational last season. Obviously, it didn't go the way any of us wanted to. Is what it is. But the fans were still showing out.
No doubt.
You go in later in the season, and we were having a season way below our standards, and you still got the whole lower bowl packed out, getting rowdy. So what are your kind of expectations to play in the stadium? Because my first game in here was versus NC State, and it was like 55,000 in here, like not a single seat open. Yeah. They ran out of beer. They ran out of water. It was going crazy. So just kind of what do you know and what are you expecting from here?
It's crazy that you say that because we were just talking when we was walking in here, and when I was in the portal, you know, me and Kate and the quarterback, we had a good relationship, and he sent me a video of when y'all played NC State, and like I rewinded back like 10 times, like, oh yeah, like that's why I want, that's where I want to go at. Yes, so, like, just being here so far, like, the fan base, like you could tell, like they like football matters here, and I mean when you playing college football, like all what's going on outside, like you kind of want to be in an environment, like in a place where like football matters, and you know it matters here. So I can't wait. The first game, I'm just going. It's going to be crazy.
Most definitely. And for those of you guys listening right now, season tickets are on sale. Talking about the loyalty and strength of our fan base, after a year like last year, we're ahead of our season ticket sales right now. So even though we weren't successful last year at all by any means, the fans are still showing up. They're loyal. They're excited about the changes and new additions that are happening with this team and this program. So that's definitely something to keep an eye out. Like I said, if you're listening and you haven't bought into the season tickets, definitely go take a look at that. So usually on the outro, we do a player imitation of a coach. We're not going to do that today. I think the best one was Shane with Coach Big John. But today, Coach, the outro's on you. You don't have to call out names, but I'm curious to see or hear what the worst excuses that you've gotten from a player, whether it's late to a workout, missing class, not getting an assignment turned in, whatever it could be. I want to know the best excuse, the most BS excuse you've gotten.
Ever? Like just total out of every place that I've been, or just since we've been here in Pirate Nation?
Honestly, if you got both, I want both.
I'm trying to think. Okay, this one was pretty bad. This was early on. I think this might have been back to 2000, maybe 17 or 18 or something like that. I had one of my guys tell me, it was the simplest thing. He said he missed workouts or he overslept because of the daylight saving time. Because it, like he said he lit, but it's like, and my exact response back was, your phone automatically switches. Changes. You don't have to manually change the time. So you just didn't set the alarm.
He thought he was doing something.
Like literally thought he was doing something because it was perfect. It was that we did go back in time, or maybe I think it went back in time or something like that. But like literally, instead of just being man and just saying, "Coach, you know what? I jacked up. Right. Like I overslept. I didn't set my alarm." He literally blamed it on the
he
time
thought he was good
like,
too. I'm not gonna lie. As a freshman, I didn't know whether we were springing forward or falling backwards. I would have thought that was good. But now that I've got some time under my belt, beat.
No doubt.
What about here? You got any good ones from here?
Like all my dogs here, man. Boy,
we're pretty
straightforward. Yeah, they're straightforward. Boys,
nobody wants Breakfast Club here.
Nah, definitely don't try to make no excuses. They just, I mean, if they do something, you know, and like Winston said, I try to be that vessel for my boys. Right. Like, you can talk to me. Like, I understand you're going to make mistakes. Yeah. I get it. I made a lot of them when I was your age. I promise you, I did. But when it's all said and done, man, my boys know I might get on you. Yeah. But I'm going to ride for you every day of the week. I'm going to ride for you. I promise you that. You just got to just keep me in the loop.
Definitely. Winston, you got any experience being late or missing an assignment, a coach getting on you?
I'm trying to think. I don't really remember.
I'm scarred still to this day. Like,
I'm trying to think. I might have been late to one thing, but it was because I thought it was optional. Mm-hmm. So I had came, like, it was like I was at West V. I think it was like my second year. They had like times where you could come in.
Yeah, like a float.
And I thought it was like optional. I came late. I had to do a little plate push, but after that.
And now you know. Whether they say optional or not, you know it's not optional. Yeah. I'm scarred. I still have OCD, like when I'm checking my alarms before I go to bed. Yeah. Like even like now, obviously I'm done playing. I still go to rehab for my pec, and I check my alarms like 4 times to make sure I'm not late. Granted, nothing is going to happen if I'm late.
Yeah, I do that too, though.
But it's like at my previous school, it would be like freezing, snowing. You're in the mountains, and we didn't have an indoor. And if someone was late to winter workouts, and we started at 5, so you're in the weight room at 4:45. If someone was late. The whole team's running stadiums until he shows up. And so after, like, the second time, like, the older guys kind of had a system down. One guy would just say, screw it. He'd go get his keys, drive to the guy's house, and wake the guy up because the team's going to keep doing them until he shows up. It doesn't matter how long he sleeps. It was crazy. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So you're sitting there doing stadium. So you call like 3 times, he doesn't answer. You're going to his house and banging on his door. He's getting here. So I'm like, I got like a mental block in my head. Like, I will never be late to anything.
I'm with you.
If I'm sleeping too good, I wake up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I set like 6 alarms, and that's just every day.
Right.
And they're literally 2 minutes apart from each other. Like 6:02.
You get up at the first one or no?
For the most part, most of the time I'm up before the first one, especially now that got the little man running around and we got the pup. Oh, yeah, well, I'm definitely up.
You got a house full. You got jobs to do before you go to the job.
Oh, my goodness. You got to make sure everybody is situated before I leave for the day so everything is not sitting on the wife. So,
yeah.
But it's all good, man. It's all good.
There you go. Well, guys, that's episode 8 of the Ship's Log with Coach Dyrell Roberts and receiver Winston Wright Jr. Guys, have a great spring practice. Looking forward to watching you guys ball out in the spring and fall, I should say. But, yep, that's it, and we'll see you next time.
Appreciate you, my guy.